Hi there, I'm Sarah. I teach Warm Hearts Yoga classes for adults and for children in and around St Andrews. This is our last of these tasters looking at some different styles of yoga. And for this last session, we're going to slow things all the way down and do a yin style practice. So yin yoga is quite a modern form of yoga, and it involves holding postures for a longer period of time. Sometimes you could hold postures for as long as 10 minutes. Now, we're not going to do anything for that long today, but we will be staying in the same position for about 3 minutes or so. And this can be challenging. It can be challenging for the body. If something isn't feeling comfortable, you have to work through that discomfort. And it's challenging, really challenging for the mind to sit in stillness for that long. It's really not easy. So a couple of things that you might find help you be comfortable in this session. The first thing, because we're not moving about so much, you won't get as warm as you have done in the other sessions. So you might want to make sure you've got some layers on to keep cozy. The second thing is that you might like to have some music playing in the background if that is something you enjoy. And that, when we're finding stillness, can be a little bit helpful. Just try to make sure it isn't something that's going to distract you at all. And the final thing is, if any of these positions don't feel comfortable, and I mean that in the sense that they're causing pain and something that doesn't feel right, a little bit of, oh, that feels a bit odd or a bit niggly, or it's not very easy to be here, is okay. But you need to know the difference between that sensation and this is actually not doing my body any good sensation. So if you do have that thought that, hang on, this isn't right, I'm not enjoying being here, my body doesn't like it, then you just come out and you join back in with the next position when you're ready, or you take a breath and then try again and see how it feels. Okay. So give it a go and see what you think of this style of yoga. Okay. And you might like to have a couple of props to help you get comfortable. So if you have any yoga blocks, then you might use these. If you don't have any yoga blocks, then a cushion or two might come in handy. We're not going to do any positions where the props are necessary today, because I know not everybody has things at home, but you might find that they help you get a bit more comfortable in some of the positions. And we're going to start in a sitting meditation. So what you might find is that you'd like to sit on a cushion or a rolled up blanket just to help tilt the pelvis forwards a little bit so that you don't end up slumping in the lower back. And another option would be to sit against a wall. So you've got that wall helping you stay upright here. And again, you don't end up slumping forwards. I'm just going to shuffle forward so I'm closer to the camera here. So using whatever props you need, and crossing the legs, and you could take this cross-legged position. You could bring the feet in closer, so you're tucking the feet more in front of one another and letting the knees open to the sides if that feels comfortable for you. And we're going to take the hands to the knees and then turn the palms to face upwards, inviting this open sensation across the chest. You might leave the hands just as they are, or you might touch your thumb and your first finger together, this chi mudra, gesture of consciousness. And then close the eyes or gaze softly down to the floor in front of you if you're not comfortable with having the eyes closed here. So just starting, being aware of the feel of the ground underneath you. And noticing all the parts of your body that are touching the floor. And let there be a sensation of heaviness around all the parts of the body that are touching the floor. So let the weight go down into your sitting bones, your ankles, your thighs, wherever you feel that contact with the ground beneath you. And at the same time, experience a sensation of lightness in the chest. So the chest lifts up. Begin to notice where your body is. So noticing if you feel that you're leaning forwards or leaning back. And try to let the spine be straight. Your shoulders are directly above your hips here. So the spine is long. Now, as you breathe, start imagining that you have roots. And these roots extend out from all those points of contact down into the earth beneath you, through the ground, way down deep. And these roots are holding you steady and anchoring you here. Feeling that heavy sensation in the lower body. Gravity drawing you downwards. And letting it be a pleasant sensation so you're supported and held here. Feeling those roots anchoring you down into the earth. And follow those roots down. Seeing them start as large roots and tapering off into small, thin tendrils. These roots are seeking out moisture, seeking out nourishment from the earth. And you can draw that earth energy into you through these roots. So as you inhale, draw in some of the energy of the earth, which is strong and stable, quiet and still. Just pausing here, breathing in and out. Drawing in that stable earth energy. Drawing in that strength. Quiet strength and stillness. Feeling that you're connected to the earth beneath you. Feeling that you're grounded and stable here. And knowing that you can draw on this strength, on this stability, on this stillness at any moment when you need it. Taking a deeper breath in now and breathing out through your mouth. Releasing the hands. Breathing in, reach the arms up. And breathing out as you open them in a big wide circle. Again, breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, opening them in a big wide circle. Letting the hands relax down. As you exhale, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Just pausing there, feeling a stretch down the side of the neck. You could tilt the chin forwards a little bit. Just some gentle movements here to start easing us into our practice. As you breathe in, lift the head up. As you breathe out, left ear towards left shoulder. Again, you could tilt the chin forwards a little way if that feels better. Just finding a stretch. Breathing in, lifting the head up. Breathing out there. Reaching the hands out in front, interlace the fingers. And as you exhale, press your palms away from you. Round the upper back as you send the heels of your hands forwards. As you breathe in, reach the arms up. As you breathe out, over to the side. Breathing in, up. Breathing out, over. Breathing in, up. Breathing out, hands reach forwards, round the upper back. And then once more, breathing in. Breathing out, over. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in as you come up. Breathing out, pressing those hands forwards. Breathing in now as you reach them up. Breathing out, opening them wide, bringing them down to the floor. We're going to come into a butterfly for our first position. We did this at the end of our Vinyasa flow class last week. We're taking the feet together and the knees out to the side, but this is a very long position. The feet are a long way away from the body. And we're going to fold forwards here. Now this is when some props might be handy. And you can use your props, whatever you have in the house, to give your head somewhere to rest. So if I pop some blocks down, I can rest my head on the blocks. If you have some pillows, then you could put some pillows down and then rest your head down onto some pillows here. Sometimes it feels nice when you're spending a little bit longer in these positions to have somewhere for the head to rest. So we're going to find our way down into stillness, and the arms just go wherever feels natural. You're not right or wrong, just adjust and find somewhere that you can be comfortable. Dropping the head forwards, whether it's resting on something or not. Maybe closing the eyes here. And just noticing any sensations in the body to begin with. So maybe you're aware of sensations of stretching or opening. With our yin postures, we want to try and make sure that we're not actively tensing and tightening the muscles. We're trying to relax as much as possible. And this helps some of these stretches get into the connective tissue and into the joints a little bit more rather than just toning the muscles. So if you do notice that you're clenching and hanging on anywhere, then see if you can release that. Use your exhale. Challenge yourself to find stillness here. Resisting the urge to fidget, to move about. Resisting the urge for those even little tiny movements. Keeping everything perfectly still as you can possibly be. And as the body becomes still, just notice what happens in your thoughts, in your mind. So where are your thoughts going? What's happening? What are you thinking here? Is it a case of when am I going to get out of here? When can I move again? Are you feeling quite happy and relaxed and content? Or is the mind just wandering? Where is it going? Going into the past, going into the future? What's happening for you? Sometimes in practices like this, when we move a little bit more slowly or a lot more slowly, it gives us the opportunity to learn about ourselves, how we react to things. Starting to move out of this on an inhale as you start to lift your head up and slowly lift the body up. So we've been stretching the hips and the lower back here, and we just counter that, drawing the knees together. Bring the hands down behind you and let the knees gently rock side to side. It's moving as deep or as small as you like. Just easing out. We're going to come round into our Anahatasana, our puppy posture next. Again, we visited this last time. The knees are staying underneath the hips and the body is going to reach forwards. Now, because we're staying here for this bit longer, you might like a softer position. So as you reach the hands forwards, you might take them a bit wider than the shoulders, or you might bend the elbows. Just find your way to somewhere that you can stay. And you probably want to drop the head down this time so that, again, you're not straining anything, keeping the focus inwards. So find your way into a position where you can be still, and then let yourself breathe here. Our last posture was all about the hips and the lower back. And now we've moved up into the upper body, working into the shoulders and the chest, into the back of the heart and the front of the heart. So you're lengthening and opening the front body here and working as well into the upper back and the shoulders. You might notice sensations around the side body as well, down the armpits or down the sides of the ribs. And the name of this posture, Anahatasana, translates to heart chakra posture, sometimes called melting heart pose. Partially because what it looks like is you're melting your heart down to the floor, but also because this is targeting that part of the body that's around the heart chakra. The chakras in yogic philosophy are these energy centers that go all the way up the spine. So the lowest one is right down at the bottom of the spine. And then they go up, so the last one's right up at the top of the head, the crown of the head. And these energy centers are associated with different emotional states. They're associated with different feelings. And there's a lot more that you could look into and find out about if you're interested in it. And the heart chakra is all about our openness and our compassion and our belief in ourselves as well. Just noticing again sensations in the body, thoughts and feelings. If it starts to become uncomfortable or if the fingers become numb or tingly, then you just ease yourself out. Otherwise, we're staying here for just a few more long, steady breaths. And then as you inhale, start to lift the hips up, bringing the hands slowly in. And we'll find our way onto hands and knees. Just do a couple of cat stretches here. Exhaling as you round the spine. You might stay here or you might do some cat-cows. So inhale as the chest moves forwards. Exhaling to press the ground away from you. Just giving a nice bit of movement, a little bit of a counter stretch to that big heart opening gesture. And just sit yourself back on your heels for a moment. Come into another heart opening posture, Sphinx pose, the back bend. So we start all the way down on our belly here. And the feet go out to the side a little way, maybe hip distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. And the elbows come underneath the shoulders with the hands out in front. And you want to feel that the spine and the back is nice and long. So the heart is reaching forwards, and you could drop the head down here, or you could keep the gaze out in front. Now, if you do have some props around you, cushions or blankets or anything, then you can always put these underneath your rib cage to give you some support and take some of the effort out of this posture. It's helping to lift the heart so that you're getting the nice stretch and opening for the back and this nice heart opening shoulder work without having to hold yourself up quite so much. So that can feel quite nice there. And if you don't have anything, that doesn't matter. You're just staying with this posture as it is. Noticing where the shoulders want to go. So a lot of us spend a large part of our daily lives hunched forwards over desks, over screens, driving cars, on phones, just doing all of those things that we do throughout our daily lives. And any sort of back bending work like this is a nice opportunity to draw the shoulders back, to open into the chest. Notice what your shoulders want to do. If they really want to round forwards and they're resisting this pull back, then maybe that tells you a little bit about your body, or maybe it tells you a little bit about what positions you come into on a regular basis. So for our last minute, you might stay as you are, or if you feel that you want to come into a slightly stronger stretch, then you take the hands out to the sides a little way and press through the hands to straighten the arms, lifting up into a seal pose here. And you can adjust where the hands go, just find somewhere that feels comfortable. Again, you could drop the head down so there's no pressure or no strain in the neck. You want to make sure that the lower back isn't painful here, keeping some length. If it doesn't feel nice, you come back onto your elbows and continue working with the Sphinx. We've just got a few more breaths to take here. Letting the breath be steady, trying to focus the mind and the thoughts and the attention on that inhale and exhale. Taking just 3 or 4 more breaths here. And then on your exhale, you lower all the way down onto the belly. Just make a little cushion for your head, one hand on top of the other, and rest your forehead down onto the hands. And take a moment here, enjoying the fact that the spine is long again. So taking these moments between our postures, especially because we've been holding them for so long, just to reset the body, to counter, to find that balance again. And then we're going to bring the hands down and push ourselves up to come into a child's pose. Now you've got 2 options for your child's pose here. You can take this with the arms reached out in front and the head dropped down here. Or you can take an alternative hand position, which would be the elbows to the floor, the hands together in Anjali Mudra, this prayer position, And the hands move towards the back of the neck as the head drops down. There's a couple of choices for the legs as well. You can keep the knees together, or you could keep the toes together and take the knees wide so the body comes down in between the legs. So make your choice about which one's right for you, which variation. And you can work with either arm position, with either leg position. So find your way into wherever feels good. Dropping the head down. And if you do have the hands behind the head, and after a little while it doesn't feel comfortable, then you might just stretch them out. So I mentioned earlier about how when we come into these positions and we hold them for a lot longer, it gives us a chance to notice our reactions and notice our thoughts and learn about ourselves. Child's pose is a perfect posture for this because we're physically turning into ourselves as we round ourselves over into this ball and drop the head down. And as we physically turn into ourselves, then we shift the mental focus inwards as well. So you might start to just notice where your mind goes and where your thoughts go. It can be quite interesting to become more of an observer. So instead of just getting caught up in this dialogue and this story that's going on in your head, just see if you can detach a little bit and witness and notice and become interested. Oh, I'm thinking about that. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why that's in my mind just now. See what you can notice, see what you can find out. Trying to enjoy as well this time to be still. Not often any time to be still in our busy lives. So although it can be challenging, especially if you're not used to it, over time, then this stillness might start to feel really quite nice. Stretching the arms out now if you have had the elbows bent. And just take a moment there. And then starting to work your way back onto all fours. So bringing yourself onto your hands and knees. And either staying still here or giving the hips a little twist gently from side to side. Or even doing a couple more cats and cows, just seeing what feels nice and what feels right. And we're going to come to lie down and take one final posture before we relax. So bringing yourself onto your back now. Stretching out so you're really nice and long. And bringing the arms up overhead. Now take hold of your right wrist with your left hand and then wiggle the body over towards that left side a little bit. And then walk the feet, wiggle the feet over towards that left side as well. So you're creating a banana shape on the floor. Now we're not rolling onto the side, we're keeping the backs of the shoulders down, the backs of the hips down. If you want to cross one leg over the other, you could try both ways and see which feels right. Or you could leave the feet just beside one another. This is our last posture in our yin practice before final relaxation. So just notice how your body feels. Noticing whether anything feels different, if there's parts of the body that usually feel quite stiff or tight or uncomfortable, has anything eased? Letting the breath be slow, letting the body feel quite soft and relaxed. As you breathe in, just start to bring the hands and the feet back to the middle, back to the center, and breathe out there. And then take the hands the other way. So you're holding your left wrist in your right hand, wiggling the body over to the right and walking the feet as well over to the right. Again, creating this banana shape, but making sure you've not rolled over to the side. So keeping the backs of the shoulders and the backs of the hips grounded. And this posture is giving you the opportunity to lengthen out the whole side of the body, right the way from your wrist down, your armpit, the rib cage, the waist, the hip, down the side of the leg as well. So it's this full body stretch, but creating length. And lots of us can be quite tight down the sidelines of the body. It's not an area that we necessarily work into or stretch out regularly with our everyday movements. And because we don't often lift our hands over our heads to do very much in our daily activities, then these muscles down the sides of the ribs and down the sides of the armpits, they can become really quite tight. And that can lead to stiffness and tightness in the shoulders. It can have an impact on the upper back. And all of this can just have an impact on how your whole body feels. So from here, just going to bring the hands and the feet back into center again. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, release and draw the knees in towards the chest. So you might pause here for just a moment or two. You might give the knees a little rock or roll them around. It's doing anything that comes naturally. And then when you feel ready, you just let yourself move into your relaxation position. Because you've not generated quite so much heat, you might feel a bit colder than usual here. So if you do want to cover up with a blanket or anything, that might be nice. Allowing the body to rest and find stillness once more. Become very practiced at finding stillness today. So notice what happens as you move into this final posture. How are you reacting? Is it a case of, oh no, I'm not being still anymore, I've had enough? Or does it feel nice now just to release and lie flat without having to make any particular shape, come into any particular posture, just being still and free and easy? Allowing the eyes to close softly. Noticing the rise and fall of the body as you breathe here. Being aware of those parts of the body that are touching the ground now. The points of contact between the back of the body and the floor beneath you. And just as we did in our opening meditation, start to feel a sensation of heaviness through those points. A sensation of being drawn downwards, of sinking gently, softly. Feel those roots again that are anchoring you, holding you steadily in place. Those roots that are connecting you down to this earth, connecting you into everything around you. Find that steadiness and stillness, that energy of the earth that you can draw up through your roots, silent and steady, silent and still, quiet and calm. And if you're enjoying this feeling perfectly at ease here, feeling quite content, then just stay as you are. Don't feel the need to move. And if you are ready, then breathing more deeply, feeling the body rising and falling with your breath, wiggling fingers and toes. Having a big stretch when you feel ready, breathing in to reach through fingertips, reach through toes. And breathing out as you curl up into a ball once again. And when you're ready, just let yourself fall down to one side, whichever way feels most natural. Taking a moment there to have this transition between that state of relaxation, coming back to wakefulness. And then using the hands and the arms to help you, keeping it really slow today, nice and easy as you lift yourself up. So we finish in our seated cross-legged position, bringing the hands together at the heart center. And again, you might bow your head down, just acknowledging and thanking yourself for your practice. Thank you so much for joining me for these videos. I really hope you've enjoyed them and maybe you've learned a little bit about yoga practice and maybe you found something that you enjoy. I hope you have done. And lovely to see you. Bye.